because I know there's fear, there really is concern. I hear my friends. I want to talk to some doctors that have actually been dealing, that have been working through this crisis. I want to bring on Dr. Brownstein and Dr. Ng that are currently dealing with patients right now. You've been dealing with patients today. Thank you for taking time. This is from the Center for Holistic Medicine. So to begin with, Dr. David Brownstein, have you seen people with coronavirus up close? Am I somehow mischaracterizing it? Are there people of all demographics having serious issues? What are you seeing?
Well, we've been seeing it for about a month now, and Dr. Ng and I just treated 2 patients from the car outside because we're trying to keep them away from our office and keep our staff healthy. So what we're seeing is that our therapies are working. We use a combination of oral vitamins, vitamin A, C, D, and iodine, and then using nebulized hydrogen peroxide and iodine if they're a little bit worse. And then we're using IV vitamin C and IV peroxide. And we are so far treating over 100 patients. All of our patients are better, dramatically better. No one's hospitalized, no one's been ventilated, and no one's died. And so we're seeing positive results with this therapy. I told my staff that we've been practicing holistic medicine for 25 years. The first 24 years were practice for something like this. And we were ready for this when we knew it was coming. And we knew the therapies were going to work because we've treated influenza-like illnesses for the last 20 years, and we treated them successfully. So there are therapies out there that work. We don't have to have this fear level at 10 out of 10. You are right on the money, Del. And we need herd immunity, and we need to get over this. And our therapies are working for our patients. It's almost miraculous what we're seeing.
Dr. Ng, you know, by simply airing this, by talking to you guys right now and having this conversation, there's a good chance somebody's going to stamp false information across, the front of the screen. They're going to say there's no proof that vitamin C or peroxide or iodine or any of these therapies work. What would you have to say to those people that are questioning what you're saying is a success rate with now 100 patients? We don't have audio. Dr. Brownstein, I'll get back and I'll let Dr. Ng answer that question in just a moment. So for people that are out there that are healthy, right? I mean, you're treating people that actually, let me ask you this. How serious are some of these cases? I mean, I think that there could be an argument saying, well, you're not seeing really serious cases. You're probably seeing healthy people, in their mid-30s or something, and saying that you're having success rate. It happens to be one of the criticisms, right, of Didier Raoult and these other people that are using hydroxychloroquine in their therapies that, well, those were already healthy people. What are your clients like?
We're seeing clients of all ages. We're seeing old people. We're seeing middle-aged people. Our practice has kind of grown with us. Our average age is probably about 60 years old in our practice. And so we've seen very sick patients who thought they were dying. I've been putting the videos on my website, and these patients are getting better with these therapies. Basically, conventional medicine has nothing to offer them. They're telling them to stay home. One of our patients couldn't breathe. He was lying in bed, couldn't grab a glass of water because he was too weak. As soon as he started nebulizing hydrogen peroxide and iodine, he made a dramatic recovery. We see their fever symptoms go away within hours of doing an IV on them. We see them orally, if they catch it early enough, they just get better with a mild case. So we're seeing the gamut of people with symptoms from severe to not so severe. And, these therapies do work. And, Dr. Ng and I have been going out to the car, and our staff has been going out to cars and treating people. And, this therapy works. Let me turn it over to Dr. Ng for a few comments.
Great. Thank you. All right, Dr. Ng, to ask the question again, there's going to be some, comments that, there's no proof that these things work. I could get a false flag across this screen. Obviously, this is just your experience. But what do you have to say to people that are saying that this treatment is ridiculous, peroxide, vitamin C, these things don't work?
They should quiz our patients and see what they have to say. The first 2 people that I took care of were incredibly ill. And these were people I am convinced that if they would have ended up in the hospital, they had a good chance of dying. We're able to treat them as outpatients, and they will give testimony that these are people that were COVID positive, and they responded. We've had 100% success rate with this. And none of the thousands of patients we take care of out of this office has ended up in the hospital at all. So I disagree.
All right, that's a great statement. And of course, there are also you're doing intravenous vitamin C. I've seen actually in hospitals all around America, whether they're using chloroquine, but they're also adding vitamin C. We know there's studies in China with vitamin C. How important is vitamin C to your protocol that you're using for COVID-19?
The need for vitamin C is absolutely huge. Linus Pauling was right about this in the mid 60s that vitamin C is just absolutely critical. If you want to take a look at the lecture given by Doris Lowe in regards to the pathophys of what happens with the drop of vitamin C, it is quite astounding. The first gentleman that we took care of was ill for over 3 weeks, temperatures of 103, couldn't breathe, and he got better with the protocol, but none of it was IVs. He ended up using oral vitamin C to bowel tolerance, and it pulled him out of it, and he was pretty doggone sick. And so IV vitamin C is absolutely great, but you can go ahead, just dose appropriately with oral vitamin C, and nobody's dosing appropriately. I think Doris Lowe will go ahead and give you some more information about proper dosing that we have seen.
All right, great. Tell me a little bit about proper dosing. What would you say is proper dosing for people that believe that they might have contracted COVID-19?
Easy. Vitamin C every 30 to 60 minutes to bowel tolerance. Incredibly safe. We've been doing this for 24 years without any problems whatsoever. Take vitamin C to bowel tolerance.
What does that mean?
Take
Like,
it until you get
I'm looking at a
diarrhea.
bottle, I get like a pill that has 1,000 milligrams or something. Or, I mean, in our family, we're using like a powdered ascorbic sodium ascorbate. But what do you recommend, and what does that mean to bowel tolerance? How does that work?
I would say that it would be anywhere between 1,000 to 5,000 milligrams every 30 to 60 minutes until you get diarrhea.
Okay. And then that means you're ramped up and then you're done for the day.
No, I would go ahead and you're not done for the day. I would say that if you start feeling lousy, this is a sign that your vitamin C levels are dropping. Step it up again and just multi-dose it throughout the course of the day.
Is
You can
vitamin C
go
dangerous? I
100.
mean, this is one of the questions, right? As I have this and I see the newspapers reporting, that's not true. I mean, really, if it's not, how dangerous is vitamin C? Is it possible, like, has anyone ever overdosed and died from taking vitamin C?
Not in our practice, and we use large amounts of vitamin C without any problems whatsoever. We have our patients take it orally, but we also will go ahead and administer it IV, especially for our cancer patients. We're able to push large amounts of vitamin C. We've never seen any problems. They talk about kidney stones and these other issues. We never see any of that. Not a single one.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ng. Why don't I finish up with Dr. Brownstein? Let me get a couple last thoughts with him. Thank you. Dr. Brownstein, for those of us, we're talking about people that are getting, that are not feeling good. They think they might have had COVID-19. But for your average person that right now, let's say I want to go to one of these marches where there was going to be, tens of thousands, if not 100,000 people gathered like there were just in Michigan yesterday. What would be a smart thing to do for me to make sure that I maintain health? And, as you're answering that question, one of my thoughts is I want to get this thing, right? Is it possible to be so healthy that I end up not getting it and not developing any sort of antibodies to it? Those would be, I think, questions that have come into us about this. Is making myself healthy mean I'm not going to get it, or is it going to give me a more sort of maybe lesser symptoms?
Well, we want to be healthy at all times. So you want to be healthy so if you get sick, you can tolerate it better and have less symptoms with it. So I've been blogging about this since the start of it. And the basic rule that we follow in our practice is, number one, you need to eat a healthy diet, keep refined sugar and other refined foods down in your diet, since refined sugar paralyzes the white blood cells for up to 5 hours. Number two, you need to maintain adequate hydration. If you don't have adequate hydration, you set the stage for dehydration and problems. And number three, you need to exercise, and we need to move around. This lockdown is the wrong thing that we need right now. I agree with you, Del. We need herd immunity. And, then you need to take your supplements. And the supplements we found works over the last 25 years is vitamin A at high dose for a few days, vitamin D at high dose for a few days, vitamin C all the time, and iodine. Most of our population is deficient in iodine. Iodine has antiviral, antibacterial, antiparasitic, antifungal properties to it. just doing these basic steps can make you healthier, make you better, and you'll survive these illnesses when you get them, as we should survive them.
Great. There's a lot of people that are terrified out there. Do you have any words of wisdom for people that are really, really scared of COVID-19?
My words of wisdom are to look at your statistics, look at what I've written, because I've written the same thing. It's a small percentage of people who get sick are going to die from this. Most of us are going to recover, and over 99.9% of us are going to recover from this. And, the fear level's at a 10 out of 10. It needs to be concerning because, this is a new illness for us, and there are a lot of sick people with it. But, we can get by as the Swedes are getting by and be concerned with it and move about our lifestyle. Because if we don't have herd immunity, what are we going to do in the fall? Are we going to lock down things again? And like you said, Del, you could sit in your basement for how long? Until there's a vaccine out there that actually works. The previous vaccines for coronavirus didn't work so well. The therapies we're using are working. We're pulling our patients out of problems. They're safe, they're effective, and the fear level needs to drop for all of us.
If you like that clip, then be sure to check out our live broadcast of The High Wire every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. You can watch it on Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, and Twitter. We'll see you there.